Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jujutsu Kaisen Watch-Along podcast from the Nerdy Jock podcast. This is Kevin Ketchum, the Nerdy Jock himself, who is my best friend.
Yeah, man. And this is DK, who also has 3 cores just like Panda.
Oh my goodness. Kevin.
Yeah.
What the hell is this show?
What is this show? It's like, are we going to have to open every show with us asking the question of what the hell is this show?
Just for people who, if this is your first exposure to this podcast, we are watching along. We are Jujutsu High first years.
We are noobs.
We are watching 4 episodes at a time. This episode is covering episodes 13 through 16. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're treated to 4 of the darkest episodes I've seen in a while. Wow. I mean, if you exclude Chainsaw Man in any sort of shonen medium. And now we're like doing this crazy fun school festival thing that has all this levity and all these jokes and even more RPG style world building. And I've got narrative I
don't know. My thing is this. I love it. We are on one hell of a ride so far.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. I can't wait to get in these episodes. And like I said, if you haven't tuned in yet, like DK was just stating, make sure to watch us and follow us on YouTube. We're available on all of our streaming services, platforms, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, YouTube Podcast. So just follow us, like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. We thank you for your support so much. And remember, like he said, we are noobs. So please don't spoil it for us. We're not watching ahead. We're not reading ahead. We're literally going 4 episodes at a time in those little segments. And that's about it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, please. You guys have been amazing so far on that. We've had a couple of cool comments here and there, but nothing that has spoiled anything for us. So thank you so much for being great participants and partners in this watch along with us.
Yeah, we've had fun little teases here and there, but please, no big spoilers. If you spoil what's going to happen, you're going to kill our heart and curse us. And as we know, the heart is the metabolism of the soul.
From last episode, if you guys didn't watch it with us, we just got through the first half of the Mahito / Junpei / Yuji fight. Where spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't watched it, watch it now or catch up.
All spoilers in this. If you want to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, you care about spoilers, we're going to spoil everything. We're going to talk about everything. I mean, this is our virginal reaction to this stuff.
Yeah, and we're gonna put out some prophecies. We're gonna do it. We're gonna put some prophecies out there. Hopefully they hit. Some we found out already have, and some are completely off base. So we're just gonna put our thoughts out there, what we think's gonna happen. We're gonna have a little future forecasting as well, but we do not know. So we really have not read ahead.
There is one prophecy that Kevin prophesied in episode 2 of this podcast that came true, and that's that Panda truly is the Kwisatz Haderach.
He is the Kwisatz Haderach. Yep, another Dune reference there. Yeah, we're big Dune fans here. We'll have to do that eventually. But thank you for tuning in, and we're going to go to a really quick recap. I'll go ahead and start that off on the last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen Watch-Along Pod, episode 3. That covered episodes 9 through 9 through 12.
Yeah.
And in the last episode on 12, Junpei and Yuji start fighting. We find out Junpei has a Shikigami. He's been training under Mahito, learning about cursed energies and spirits. And, Junpei's basically just full of hate. He basically makes all of his classmates unconscious, beats up his bully. And now, Yuji confronts him. They get in a fight. Junpei is brutally murdered. After not brutally murdered, he's transfigured by Mahito, right?
Yeah, and then he dies after saying a lot of very confusing dialogue.
Yeah, we had a whole discussion about that. If you haven't watched it, check the last pod because we have some thoughts. But that's basically where they're at. Now they're in the schoolyard. Mahito is getting some attacks on Yuji. Yuji's actually getting some great attacks on Mahito. You'll see some blood going through his nose, out his mouth. He's actually inflicting damage on Mahito's soul, which we've hypothesized and kind of got a little bit from this before, is that because Sukuna is in Yuji, he has, I guess, a preternatural ability to do more damage and affect his soul because he has better inflection on his own soul. If that
He's aware of his soul.
He's aware of his soul.
He's aware of his soul. And also there are consequences if Mahito tries to touch Yuji's soul because Sukuna's soul is there as well.
Yeah.
And Sukuna can mess him up, and it's been implied in the last episode. But I mean, what I've got to say just right out the gate with this episode, which is episode 13 tomorrow, is that this is just Mappa animation on parade.
This is, can we get a round of applause? You know, maybe I'll just put a sound bite in there that's a round of applause or a big bell or big cheers, because Mappa, you guys have outdone yourselves again, right?
I mean, there's like, as this fight is continuing, and Nanami has just joined the fray, he has deduced that there is a reason why Yuji is able to hit Mahito, where his attacks work on him, but Mahito doesn't want to attack Yuji, and the same way that Mahito wants to attack everybody else, which is to distort their soul and transfigure their bodies. He has deduced that, and then so there's this fight happening, and it's got all these movements to it. Mahito throws out some transfigured humans to basically distract Yuji.
And not just humans, DK, right? These are toddlers. These are actually children that he's probably killed.
It's really horrific.
It's really messed up because it's apparent because they grow. You know, he spits them out and just kind of vomits up these little transfigured souls, and then they grow, but they don't grow huge like the other size. They're like toddlers. You can tell they're like, play with me.
Well, one of them says, "Please kill me."
And one says, "Please kill me too." Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is again touching on in the last episode we talked about. Yuji doesn't want to kill people. He doesn't even want to kill bad sorcerers. He doesn't want him being a killer to be a thing that he becomes or something to enter his life, and he's given this Sophie's choice basically. But what I gotta say about the animation is just like there are so many little moments where Mappa just like when Yuji jumps on the roof as these things are attacking him and slides, it's just so smooth, it's so freaking good, and I'm like,
crisp,
dang man, they're spending so much money and time on these episodes. And now we know from a commenter that at least in season 2, this was a problem over at Mappa, that they had a hellish schedule and it had to look this good. I did a little bit of digging, Kevin, into this too. Apparently in the broadcast version of a major fight that happens in season 2, the animation wasn't even finished.
Oh crap.
So we talk about how Gege Akutami loves Evangelion. I mean, you can't get more Evangelion than unfinished animation.
You know, hence episode 26, the final episode of Evangelion.
Right.
Was actually like it. If you've seen it or you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, it looks like it's hand drawn with like markers. Basically, it's beautiful animation in its own right, but it's not what was originally intended. Hence the need for end of Evangelion.
They ran out of money. I mean, even in the preview for the final episode, there is unfinished Ganga animation from the movie of Asuka's Eva fighting those those giant, like the White Ava series, whatever they're called.
The mass production series.
Yeah. So, I mean, but we're not here to talk about Evangelion. Yeah. This isn't Evangelion. We're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. We've got an amazing fight between these guys. And basically the point is that, obviously Mahito knows he can't hurt Yuji. He's trying to separate them so he can trap Nanami. In his innate domain.
Yep. So he does. Mahito, because he's quickly learning. I don't know why Nanami is teaching him. I don't understand how all the good guys are like teaching bad guys. Gojo does that for Jogo, and now Nanami's kind of explaining some stuff to Mahito.
Right.
And he kind of breaks it down, and they're talking about the domain expansion, and he's like, we find out before this that Mahito could never really even do a domain expansion because he's a pretty new curse.
Right.
And it takes time to develop this technique.
And we find out that Nanami can't do it either. It's the height of jujutsu sorcery to be able to do it, which is why Gojo can do it and he can't. And he hates that. He hates that he's inferior to Gojo in any way.
Anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so much going on. I mean, the animation for Mahito's innate domain expansion, what was the name of it again? I think
it's called Self-Embodiment of Perfection. He does this kind of thing with his hands. But right before we hit that, I need to say one more comment. Sorry about this.
Yeah.
Is that it's important to note that once Yuji and Nanami are split, Mahito confronts Nanami with the fact that, hey, your student Yuji, he's going to have to kill someone. If he wants to get away from those 3 people, he's going to have to do it. And Nanami says no, he'll be able to do it. And Mahito says he thinks it's pretty soft, and that he's not going to be able to kill him, and he's screwed. And then right out of that moment, out of the second story building. You hear, or you see a crash down while Nanami is being held against the wall, which you'll see in at least a still frame and the backdrop here on our green screen is he's, being touched and he's talking shit while he's about to kill Nanami. And Yuji comes down and basically saves him.
Yeah,
now,
it saves him, and then they just start
wailing on him,
pummeling the heck out of him. And Mahito is like masochistically enjoying every second of it. He's like, "Oh, this is death." This is so exciting.
Well, it's very important that you mention the death thing too, because Nanami and Yuji realize that if the less time they give him in between attacks, his attacks are all pretty expansive and use a lot of cursed energy, right?
Right.
So he says the less time we give him in between attacks, the more opportunity we have to strike him. And they are, like you just said, Yuji and Nanami are just kicking the shit out of Mahito. You get to see some really cool animation. Mahito's eyes go blank, which is very scary, very creepy.
Yeah.
That moment's really just kind of hard to watch. And then you said, what, a second ago about the D word? What'd you say?
What did I say about the D word?
You said, not the dick, the death.
The death, yeah.
He said, so Mahito, getting the crap beat out of him, he actualizes what it could mean to die and getting death. So pretty much him being put in the life or death situation finally helps him realize how to do his domain expansion.
Right, which he does, and all these hands just start kind of folding out of him and just creating this innate domain that traps it traps Nanami, but keeps Yuji on the outside.
Exactly.
Which in and of itself, this thing from the outside was an absolute Evangelion reference.
Yeah.
Maybe the most overt visual Evangelion reference Akutami has made so far.
Yeah, this is straight up. So we're a quick tangent here. Huge Evangelion fans. My favorite anime series of all time. I think it's quite possibly not even just anime. It's one of the best series ever made in the planet. It's amazing. It's Kubrick level, in my opinion. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out Neon Genesis Evangelion, because there's a direct reference to episode, 16 in Evangelion. And spoiler, if you haven't watched it, there's a angel called Leliel, and it's basically a shadow angel. And Shinji in Eva Unit 1, the big purple Eva, gets absorbed into the shadow, which is very similar, looks basically just like Mahito's domain from the outside.
Right. Because there's a second component of the angel where it's just a sphere floating in the sky, but the actual attacking part of the angel is a giant shadow that appears and kind of sucks everything down into it.
Exactly.
For the purpose of, what was it, to like interrogate the souls of whoever gets trapped inside?
Exactly.
Because the angels are trying to find, the weapon that could destroy the humans, or bring about the third impact or whatever, make contact with Adam or whatever the goal is and all that stuff. But we're not talking about Evangelion. We're talking about this.
But that's important, because we're going to go back to that in a minute. Once they do something with the domain, that's where you really know, oh, this is a direct reference to Evangelion.
Oh yeah, it was so overt.
Yeah,
I was like,
overt.
okay, here we go.
I love it. But it's important to note that once he does this self-embodiment of perfection domain DK, it's important to note that because Mahito's ability, with the idle transfiguration, using your hands to touch other objects, immediately can transfigure and transform your body into a curse. So not only is he in his domain, but Mahito's domain might be one of the most dangerous domains to be in. And
also, too, there's world building where the more dangerous the domain, the easier it is to break into. Exactly. Because no one in their right mind would want to break into it. Like, if you see a sphere that is Gojo's, infinity innate domain, I forget the exact name of it, but you would want to break into that, because then you'd be trapped in his crazy infinity spell, basically. But it works out here a little bit. But yeah, there's also the thing too, where if we forget from episode 2 of this pod, when we were talking about the world building, is that one of the facets of a true innate domain that is imbued with cursed techniques is that the technique will absolutely 100% hit. That is the point of it. And so Nanami deduces, it's not even a matter of whether or not he's going to touch my soul. I am literally standing in the palm of his hand right now.
And guess what? Mohito's touch is the most dangerous part about this curse's abilities.
Mojito.
Yeah. So if he touches him 3 times, maybe, then he might transfigure in the domain and become just a part of a Mahito. So it's Nanami has actually, at this point, he realizes the situation he's in. He's literally standing on a hand. He's like, okay. He's basically not, I don't want to say given up, but he's what's it called? Where you just said, give up.
He's resigned.
He's resigned, yeah.
Yeah.
He's resigned to knowing he's like, oh, he's kind of pissed. He's like, oh man, I can't believe I'm going to die from this. Like being a stupid sorcerer. I knew this was a bad idea, basically saying.
He says, you know, like sorcerers are shit.
Yeah.
They either throw their lives away for nothing, which this is a bleak world.
Yeah.
We know that they're understaffed, undermanned. There are only 3 first years at the Tokyo Jujutsu High.
Trace.
You know, people are just dying right and left. It seems like there are no teachers other than Gojo at the school either, and the principal. It seems like there's nobody else. You know, they're in short supply. Curses are running rampant. They're getting stronger, and he resigns himself to die. And then he remembers. He has a flashback, and I sometimes
Great flashback.
Yeah, I get weighted down sometimes by anime flashbacks, where I'm like, okay, I just want the story to progress, but I like Nanami so much, and I like this flashback where it's during a time in his life where he had quit being a sorcerer to become a high-paid salaryman, somebody who like managed some accounts for rich people,
stockbroker, stuff like that.
Yeah, just any word like moving money, making people more money, whatever, and stuff like that. And he has this little tacit relationship with this baker girl. Who sells a sandwich or a stuffed bread, they call it, that he really likes at his convenience store, doesn't sell anymore. And it's just him going through the bleakness and the day-to-day and the humdrum of this world. He works for like this Wolf of Wall Street-esque dude who's like, yo, what's up, like he speaks English in the Japanese version a lot, like, my man, and all that. And you can tell it's soul-killing. But he's like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to save up enough money in my 30s and my 40s, and I'm just going to move to the country where it's quiet. No one's going to bother me.
Be like a fisherman on an island, just live my own best life.
Right.
Well, I guess Japan is an island, so.
But just like Nobara in episode 3, was it? Yeah, episode 3, where she makes every pragmatic reason why the kid should die, but otherwise they'll both die. She ends up saving the kid. She ends up surrendering to save the kid. He's going on this whole monologue about how like this is better, just keep your head down, just make money. Money is the only reason for my existence. And then he's back with the baker girl and he says to her, I have this job where basically rich people pay me to make them richer. And if I ever disappeared from this world, no one would even notice. But people would notice if their favorite bakery went out of business. And yet I'm paid more than you. How does that make any sense? Like, he has a very egalitarian sort of like justice view of these things. It's like, yeah, like absolutely, that is a interesting philosophy.
Yeah, like what should you value in life? Basically, is it just the money, or is it the things that you enjoy that make life worth living?
Right. And then he's been ignoring the fact that she has a curse on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Every time he sees her day in and day out when he buys this stuffed bread from her.
Don't worry, and it's a fly curse. So it's not a heavy curse. It's like a grade 5 or not even a graded curse.
Yeah,
which means
it's like fatigue or
anxiety
stress.
or stress. Yeah.
But it's weighing her down and it's getting bigger. So he sees mounting fatigue and she's noticing it on him too. She's like, you look like you haven't slept. And he's like, you look like your fatigue has gotten worse. And she's like, yeah, it's just like, this
shoulder,
thing.
she feels this pain in her shoulder or whatever.
My shoulder hurts. And then he's like, could you step forward? And he exercises the curse, walks away. She jumps up and down. She thanks him. And in that moment, even though he doesn't need to say it, that means more to him than the 3 years or however long it was that he spent being a salaryman. He calls up Gojo. He's like, hey, I'm going to stop by Jujutsu High School. Hey, why are you laughing? Because then Gojo knew, like, oh, yeah, this guy, he's not. Yeah. He's like, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Got him again.
So, yeah, and he made that choice, and now he's going to die because of that choice.
Yeah.
But
he's not. Because Yuji, with the power of Sukuna, actually, with his strength, actually, just Yuji's bare strength, actually, is enough to break through the outside. Because as DK mentioned earlier, the stronger the domain on the inside, the easier the shell is to crack on the outside.
Right.
So
and he busts in, and Mahito is like, oh, crap. Because he knows, like, now he is touching Sukuna's soul accidentally again.
It was the second time. Remember a couple episodes ago, Sukuna's like, don't you do that shit. He's like, you guys have all been warned. I'm the man. If you guys come and F with my domain, because when you touch souls, you touch domains, irregardless.
Yeah.
So So Mahito has no right to touch Sukuna's domain, but it happens here. So Yuji punches to the top, and you see a really cool sequence there, and you get as an audience watching, you get a big hip hip hooray. You feel good. You're like, heck yeah, Nanami's gonna live this one. I hope.
At least for now.
And you're like, okay, Yuji's in there too. So what the hell is gonna happen? And then boom, it kind of cuts to Mahito being Mohito.
It's hard not to say.
It's just the J and the H. It's different.
Mahito.
But he basically gets transferred into Sukuna's domain because remember from the earlier episodes, when you expand your domains, whoever has the strongest domain will take over.
Right. So he's inside that place where Sukuna is just sitting on the
skulls,
the mountain of skulls.
Yes.
And he's like, I already warned you once.
Yep.
And he slashes Mahito, causes this huge hemorrhaging wound.
Just like that.
And then Sukuna treats us to a little bit of, I don't care if Yuji dies, I don't care if Nanami dies, I don't care if you die, as long as he doesn't die. And it flashes to Megumi. And it's like, man, he is really, really chomping at the bit to fight Megumi at full power. Yeah.
No, but see, now we got to take a quick timeout and say, congratulations, DK. You did hypothesize way earlier in the series that when Megumi and Sukuna's first fight, that Sukuna seemed to be very, very obsessed with Megumi and his abilities or lack thereof using his latent abilities. And I didn't think anything of it, to be honest. I was like, of course he just says he could be strong, just setting up plot builder. But evidently, Sukuna has some plans for Megumi.
I had the feeling that that's the reason he made the pact with Yuji. He's like, it's like Hisoka and Gon in Hunter x Hunter, where he wants to ripen Megumi to be a formidable adversary in order to thoroughly destroy him. Or maybe he has other darker plans. Maybe Megumi's going to be the Sasuke of the show. It's certainly not Junpei, but I mean, there's something he has a want. It could be an Orochimaru Sasuke relationship. It could be Hisoka Gon. I don't know, but yeah, he's after Megumi, and so
a round of applause to you, DK.
Oh, please.
You got to give him credit where credit's due.
I'm no hero.
Yes.
I didn't. Yeah, no.
Round of applause.
I feel like it was obvious.
Okay, so back on point.
So now, complete this Evangelion visual reference there.
And then, boom. And a scene ripped straight from Evangelion. The Shadow Angel Leilil, when Eva Unit 1 is absorbed in it, it breaks out. It goes berserk. So it's kind of funny here because it's not only a direct reference, visually referenced, copied from Evangelion, it's actually a spiritual brother to the show as well. Because Shinji loses control when he's in the Angel. The only way he gets out is because his Eva has a soul. Spoiler alert, its own soul, and it goes berserk and breaks out. So literally, Yuji's soul didn't break out, but Sukuna's soul took over and broke him out of the shadow. Right. So literally, it's literally one for one the same exact situation that happened in Evangelion happens in JJK. A different spirit takes over. The more powerful one, that's innate or latent, takes over, breaks him out of the cage, and then you see a disruption of the domain, and that is literally it. So watch Evangelion, because guess what? If you watch that, you're going to know a lot about JJK.
Yeah. Blindfold's coming off. It was cutting off circulation in my brain.
But it was a cool bit, and we loved it. Keep up the cosplay, DK.
I'll try to find stuff that fits in the future.
Yeah.
I wish I had the Gojo glasses on hand, but it's okay. I can stare right into this beautiful light.
But then,
visually, this was super cool. I mean, it was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm seeing this, and then it's that scramble where they're like, okay, kill Mahito quickly, kill him quickly before he gets away. But no, he expands himself huge. Yuji unleashes his strongest divergent fist attack, but that was just like a replica. It was just a balloon-esque thing. It pops, and then Mahito slithers into the sewers, like bye-bye, and disappears, and that's it. He gets away and probably will come back stronger again, because he came back way stronger after he fought Nanami the first time, and now he's, just fought both of them. So he's just accruing all that XP, man.
we do know this episode is almost over, and that was a great synopsis. I love that episode. It was a fantastic episode. One of my favorites of all time. But Mahito does make one more point when he's kind of like crawling to near death in the sewer, crying just to sit up. And he realizes, he says, okay, well, at least we know that when Sukuna gets fully resurrected, the age of curses will come.
Yeah, he's like, I think that even if I die, when he gets resurrected, he will bring about the age of curses.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then he relents because he's like, but that sucks because I really, really want to kill Yuji, but I can't kill his body, but I can kill his soul over and over and over again.
Yeah.
How will I kill his soul the next time? And it's just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be something worse than Junpei?
Yeah.
Like, what? It's like, no. Junpei killed me. I hated that. I mean, I loved it. It was so emotional, but man, yeah, if it's going to be worse than Junpei, I don't know how I'm going to hang. Like, it's so good. So,
well, speaking of Junpei, though, don't they have one more sequence before the episode ends, right? Like it goes back to the high school, and then it's a really cool moment because they have the teacher who wasn't the best teacher for helping Junpei with the bullies. They're in class, and they're taking a questionnaire. About being bullied. It was really cool to see. It's like, hey, have you ever been bullied? Have you seen other people get bullied? Have the teachers helped with the bullying? It's like a 5 or 6 questionnaire for the kids to deal with because they are now dealing with the aftermath of Junpei's absence from school now.
Right.
They said he moved away, but he's obviously dead. And the bully is getting lectured by the teacher saying, we're not going to have any more of that or you're expelled.
I've got my eyes on you, even though he just graduated. So
like,
I'm going to follow you to college. I'm going to live in your dorm with you. I'm going to make sure you never bully anybody ever again.
Yeah.
Which is a little too late kind of thing. Yeah. I think, he had an opportunity. He saw what was going on before. It's like, of course, once somebody's dead, or even if somebody quits school and moves away, which is a thing that happens in Japan. There's that phenomenon where people, if they're bullied too much, they will leave school, lock themselves in their room forever. And, it's a really horrific thing because people just look the other way with bullying in Japan too much.
Yeah. So that was episode 13.
Well, we got just a tiny little bit more. We've got the conversation between Nanami and Yuji, which is a reiteration of what Gojo said when he gave him the choice. It's like, this is a tough life. You're going to do some messed up stuff. You're going to see friends die. You're going to kill people that you don't want to kill. Are you really ready for this? Because this is what it means to be a jujutsu sorcerer. Mm-hmm. Now you know. Now you are locked and loaded. You are prepared to be a sorcerer after you've had this thing. And the episode ends with Yuji walking down the hall at the school to meet up with Nanami and Gojo to get ready to go to the Kyoto School Exchange event.
USA!
And then we have a fun little jujutsu stroll where Megumi, Nobara, Panda, Inumaki, and Maki. They're Inumaki and Maki. They're all eating like sukiyaki, some kind of hot pot. They're complimenting Megumi on his meatballs that he made. And he's like, oh, these are really easy. Yuji taught me how to make them. And it shows on the screen a recipe. Yeah. I might make them. I might try to make those meatballs. And then it cuts to Yuji and Gojo. And Gojo's
training in the video dungeon.
Right. He's like, oh, these are really good meatballs. He's like, oh, these are easy to make. Even Megumi can make them. I taught him in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So
a great moment. A little foreshadowing for the next episode.
Which is called Kyoto Sister School Exchange Event Group Battle 0. And so we get a really disturbing little teaser here with Jogo.
Yeah, I love this moment, by the way. I watched this a few times. This is one of my favorite scenes in this episode, just starting off, because it's always good to go back and see, not only good to see your friends, but it's also good to see your favorite villains, right?
Right.
And so it cuts to Mahito, Geto, and Jogo.
Yeah, I'm never gonna it's the worst,
live
guys.
That one. Jogo in the hot springs. They're in some fantastic hot springs, which in all Tokyo, or not just Tokyo, but all of Japan, they're known for their wonderful hot springs.
It's a very volcanic archipelago. There's hot springs everywhere. Onsen.
Yep. And Jogo is smoking a human-ish a human, not cigar, but
a pipe.
A human pipe with a brain sticking out, and you can like hear him going.
It's crying in pain, like, no, stop, as he inhales.
Yeah.
And he's also fully recovered.
Yeah, he was ahead, remember?
Yeah.
And so Mahito jumps in, he does a big cannonball, a youthful, fun cannonball, and he's like, oh yeah, it looks like you're almost fully grown back again. He's like, yeah, I'm getting there. And he says, well, you don't look too great yourself, Mahito, right?
Yeah, and I think another prediction that we made is coming true about Geto possibly working at one of the Jujutsu schools. Because he has way too much intel. He's like, Jujutsu High has 6 fingers of Sukuna.
Right.
And they don't want to give them to Yuji because they're afraid that he's going to go berserk. Although Gojo does want to give them all to Yuji.
Yeah,
he's
they just want to feed him. Feed the monster.
So they're like, what we need to do is we need to collect them all ourselves and then offer them to Sukuna so that he'll join us.
Right.
Yeah, and...
it's a cool moment because there's actually some great exposition. That's a great way to move that plot along as well. And it shows that Geto does have some kind of connection to the Jujutsu school that we didn't know or still don't know.
Right.
Trying to figure out.
And then of course, as Yuji is preparing to finally unveil to his friends that he's still alive, of course, Gojo, just being the scamp that he is, it's like, wait. You need to do this in a more flashy manner.
Right.
Like, just leave this to me. I've got you. And I think we already know that there's something really dumb that's about to happen. Because I think the way that he sees it in his head, his friends are crying and laughing. Nobara starts throwing up, and then global warming is solved too.
Yes. I mean, this is one of I love this moment. So these next 3 episodes are some of, in my opinion, the funniest. Like, I had so much fun watching these episodes. I think off pod, me and Dan did discuss, he preferred the last 4 episodes over these 4.
The darker stuff,
The darker stuff. I love the darker stuff too, especially the Mahito fight. But these are just so damn funny that, like, me and my girlfriend, we just did not stop laughing the entire, 3 episodes. Not the entire time, but, the funny spots in this episode were really, really funny.
Yeah.
And Gojo and Yuji, it's kind of how they're a really good tandem together. Because, Yuji's very fun and likes to make jokes, and Gojo as well. So, their whole plan to make this, the reveal of Yuji work is just a really hilarious side bit.
The humor is great in these episodes. I don't have a problem with that. You and Angie are 100% in the same boat as me when it comes to that stuff. I do have some major qualms once the actual group battle event starts, which I'll get into when we get there. But because we're at a moment now where we get to meet all of the Kyoto students who are participating, all of the second years.
Yeah, so
So
our guys are the Tokyo crew. They're already waiting, and the Kyoto.
Nobara has that funny little thing too, where she thought that they were going to Kyoto, so she packed a bag and she's like, I can't wait to get all these souvenirs. And Panda's like, wait, no, it's an exchange at the Kyoto school, but we're hosting.
Yeah, here. He's like, because we won last year because Okatsu or whatever his
Okotsu,
name is.
yeah.
Okotsu.
Okotsu Yuta.
Who I still do not know. They name drop him in these 4 episodes. I think it feels like 5 times at least. I mean, it's a lot.
Well, he even says, and this is interesting, he says that Okotsu Yuta was the only person who competed for Tokyo last time, which he's a second year, so that means it was his first year he competed. And he said this was before he freed Rika. Now, I know what that means, because like I said, I had read over a year ago Jujutsu Kaisen 0, thinking that that's where the story began. So I know what that means. And it's an insane idea that he was able to defeat all of Kyoto by himself because of the nature of his curse and stuff. And of course, Nobara's pissed off. She's like, well, what's wrong with him? Why did he win? I curse you, Okotsu Yuta. You're the one who makes me not travel or whatever. And then all of our Kyoto buddies walk up. We have Zen and Mai, who we've already met.
Right.
Girl with a gun.
And you'll see him on the green screen here as we introduce them again.
Todo, Aoi, the big meathead, awesome dude.
This guy.
Oh, yes. Yes. We got Nishimiya Momo.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is a witch, basically.
Kiki's delivery service, little fan service there, I think. She even kind of has the hair a little bit, right? No?
We've got Ultimate Mechamaru.
And who doesn't love... See, I love this, because I love... Who doesn't love a mech man character in the show?
Which I think, when I've seen...
One Punch Man, you have to have one. You have to have one in JJK, you got My Hero Academia. I mean, you know, just like Mega Man is a staple to NES and video games, I think Mecha, RoboCop kind of characters in anime are a staple. And you have to have one.
It's a fun design. And when I've seen Gege Akutami doing signings, he's wearing a Ultimate Mechamaru helmet.
Yes.
That's the cosplay that I've seen him wear. So it's like to hide his identity. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's a cool design. We have Miwa. I forget her surname, but we've seen her before. The blue-haired girl.
Bulma.
Bulma slash Botan from Yu Yu Hakusho. And we have a new guy who is kind of like a typical sort of like very traditional Japanese, like he kind of feels like
closed.
A samurai. Very stoic dude named Kamo Noritoshi. So
seems dangerous to me, that guy. I don't know. He's giving off dangerous vibes.
Right. Sure. And then we also have there's another little reveal that Megumi is actually a member of the Zenin family.
Yes.
That he's the strongest member of the family, even though he's not a direct heir.
Yeah.
Which pisses off Mai when she hears it.
Yeah.
You know?
No one knew that, and we know Maki and Mai are both Zenins.
Right.
And now I guess Megumi's somehow related to them as well.
Somehow, like a cousin to the family, kind of like Hinata and Neji. Yeah, Neji.
And I guess there's three tribes, right? 3 ninja tribes. Is that I don't know.
In Naruto?
No, not Naruto. In JJK, because they
ninja tribes.
Well, like that.
Are they ninjas?
Maybe. I don't know, but they said the old.
Did I miss that completely?
I think in this episode they're talking about when they mention this, or maybe it's the next one. It's in this group of episodes here, because I remember them saying specifically, the old heads at the schools, and then the three tribes will be like pissed off about finding out about Yuji being alive or something like that. They make a reference to this.
Oh,
they
okay.
do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
So,
but did they say ninjas specifically?
I don't know. That's just where my head went. I'm thinking ninja. But like probably not.
Not without.
Maybe
it's in the realm of possibility.
Maybe it's Yakuza. I don't know. But like, there's definitely like 3 sects. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
there are 3 old families. There are 3 clans.
Exactly.
Yeah, that are integral to this world.
When I say clan, my mind automatically goes to ninja. You know.
Okay.
But not ninja. Maybe it's just a clan. Obviously, that's not a prediction. That's just whatever.
When I hear clan, my mind immediately goes to Aisha Clan from Outlaw Star.
Yeah, at least it's not the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh my God! How could you darken our podcast with the specter of white hoods?
Sorry, yeah. No.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm just kidding. So Iori Utahime is the Gojo surrogate in Kyoto. She's of the same rank. Or not Gojo.
They have an interesting relationship as well.
They do. Like it's very antagonistic. Also, a little bit of like tension.
Yeah,
I would
a little bit of sexual tension there, you know.
Yeah, where she hates him and he's like very flirty with her.
Very much like our other favorite show, Evangelion. Little Misato and Kaji.
Totally.
Kind of action. You can see that same kind of love-hate relationship that they both have.
Yeah, like she's like, oh God, it's Gojo when he shows up, and Miwa, who's in love with Gojo, is like, oh my gosh, it's Gojo, and he shows up wheeling a big old cart. Wonder what's inside.
Ice cream?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Probably. Just shows up frivolously handing out souvenirs to all the Kyoto folks, and then the lamest reintroduction to Yuji possible. It just pisses everybody in Tokyo off immediately.
He just pops out.
Yeah, which made me laugh. It did make me cringe. I was like, yeah, this is bad. I mean, because like I could have pictured actual cool ways,
right,
where he could have just shown up on the day and it's like, hey, you guys need a hand or
I
something?
think that is the perfect introduction to Yuji, because I think that's so funny because like they already built it up. They're suddenly making a big deal. And remember, these characters have not seen Yuji for months. So the fact that it's actually the most miserable, kind of like lamest, oh look, he comes out of a ice cream sundae like cart or something like that.
Right.
It just pops out and they're like, what the hell, you're alive? It just, not only does it raise the anger and frustration in our Tokyo, characters who have known him and missed him for these last 2 months, but he pops out in the most unsympathetic, emotional way. Just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Woohoo!
Right. And it's perfect too because it's kind of Gojo's fault.
Right.
And everything Gojo does pisses Megumi off, as we know. But Yuji is just kind of like, a little puppy. He's like, oh yeah, like maybe this is cool. Like, oh, like Sensei is saying this, like I'll go along with it or whatever. But yeah, it backfires. It pisses everybody off. He has to apologize. Yeah. And then Gakuganji shows up, and we know Gakuganji was the one who tried to orchestrate having Yuji killed.
Yeah, that's the principal of Kyoto High, the evil one with
the old man.
Guy.
He's like the head of the Shinigami and Bleach.
Guy right here.
Yeah, this dude. This
guy. Dude.
And I love, man, like, you really get a sense, like, okay, so we know that cursed energy comes from negative feelings inside. Gojo might be a carefree dude. He might be a little scamp making jokes. He might be trolling people. But this guy harbors within him such deep hate, such deep negative emotions that it is the source of his power. That's the thing that is burning within him that we never see, but he lets it out every now and then. And this is a moment where he goes up to Gakuganji and he goes, oh, hey, I was worried that you might die from shock when you saw him. You know, it's just kind of a veiled threat because he's already threatened to kill him before.
Yeah, Gojo always raises the shock factor to 10 when he's involved with any of the elders, you know?
Right. Yeah, and we get a little fun preparation thing. We find out that the knife that Gojo gave Yuji earlier on, he borrowed from Maki.
Called Slaughter Demon, I think. So aptly named.
Right. And then Yuji realizes it and he passes the buck and just kind of throws Gojo under the bus.
I think Gojo has that one.
Yeah. And Megumi's just looking at him, shaking his head, just like, whatever. Yeah, we're getting all this set up. It's fun.
It's a good setup episode.
It's one of those things, you know, it's a typical thing in shonen anime where it's always like, okay, we've got this thing. Let's discuss strategy. They don't discuss strategy on camera. It's going to be something that they flash back to later. Yeah. Maybe because the author didn't know at the time when he was writing it, or maybe because he wanted to hide it and surprise people.
In the side meetings, right? Yeah.
Right. And then we go to the Kyoto meeting where it's a much more serious discussion where Gakuganji's like, you guys have to kill Yuji.
Yeah.
He's not a person. He's got Sukuna in him. He's not a person. It's just like killing an evil sorcerer or a cursed spirit. And Maya's like, wait a minute, you say kill him, but didn't he already die before and come back?
Right.
And then Gakuganji offers the means by which they can kill him, which is to put cursed energy into the final blow.
Yeah,
basically.
That's kind of, I think that's kind of new for me. I didn't know that beforehand, that the cursed energy would be the one, because they were worried about him coming back as a curse.
Right.
And it said, if you do kill him with cursed energy, then that means it'll be erased pretty much from the universe.
Right.
There will be no curse that can come from him because it's cursed energy that killed him.
Right. And he ripped his own heart out before, so.
Right, which I didn't know. But I'm like, it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be pretty tough to kill a guy who already has his heart ripped out, you know?
Right.
But who knows?
Yeah. And so that's the plan. Todo has a total prima donna freak out, which I love.
Love this.
He's screaming at them, I've been long disappointed in your horrible taste in women, because he just wants to go watch, I think it's Takada-chan, his idol that he loves and stuff. And he tells them, like, if you tell me what to do, I'm going to kill all of you.
Yeah, like we said, this show has its highs and it has its lows as far as emotional stakes. And then it also has its very bipolar moments. Where we're coming from a scene of levity to a scene of darkness to a scene of, like, we're talking about a murder, then to Todo. Literally, I think he meant what he said. Like, he's like, if you guys mess with my stuff, if you stop me from watching Takada, I will kill you. And I think he meant it.
Yeah. And you know what? I think he could do it too. Because here's my qualm with the Kyoto School. I don't think any of these people, aside from Todo, are threatening at all.
Yeah.
They don't seem like a threat. As we'll get into in the next episode, we're wrapping this episode up right now very quickly. JJ Stroll, Takada-chan with sushi and sake and stuff like that. There's that. But yeah, Todo stomps off. He's not going to be a part of the murder plan.
But you got to add this moment, right? When Todo might be one of my new favorite characters. I hated him. If you guys watched, I was not a fan when he beat the shit out of Megumi in episode like 5 or 4.
4.
Yeah,
wait.
4, 6. Maybe
it was
6.
Boredom. Yeah, so it was 8.
Yeah, 8. Yeah. Last episode or 2 episodes ago, he beat the crap out of Megumi. I was like, dude, this guy's a prick. Like, I didn't like his growth. I didn't like anything about him. But Todo in this scene, before we even get to the Yuji Todo fight, which is coming up, which is fantastic, you get a really funny moment was like, Todo's like, don't interrupt me with Takada. Not only am I going to watch her live, I'm also going to record that.
Yeah.
I'm going to like it, okay? And he's like, fuck off.
What's the guy's name? Kamo was like, just record it and watch it later. He's like, I'm going to do both. He's great. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite characters.
He's hilarious. So, like, you know, when you compared with Todo earlier, I was offended, but now I say with love and admiration, you know what? Not a bad comp.
No, he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. So we go into episode 15, Kyoto Sister School Exchange event group battle 1. We've got Gojo immediately doing this funny thing where he's being very Kaji to Misato to her, where he's pimping her into making an announcement she wasn't prepared to make.
Not a great public speaker.
Yeah, she fumbles through it like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's you know, expected that you might get injured, but help each other out. And he just cuts her off too. Like,
and then he says, okay, good luck, everyone.
It's super funny, like a super funny moment.
But first, we need to talk about the perimeters of this battle event, right? Just we got to lay the groundwork. I don't know if they did that in the last episode or this one now.
Oh, really quick. One last thing from the last episode is maybe my theory is coming true because Gojo, he has this funny little moment of chemistry with Iori, but then he gets serious. He's like, I think that we have a mole in one of the schools. I need you to investigate Kyoto.
Right.
And she's like, well, what would you do if it was me? And then he's like, oh, that's fine because you're weak as hell. She throws tea at him. He blocks it with infinity. And he's just like, hey, no one's going to want to date you if you're like that.
He smiles back.
But yeah, so maybe that's Geto. Maybe Geto is a senior ranked person in the school, and that's why he's the mole or whatever. So we go.
So basically, guys, both teams, Tokyo and Kyoto, they have to try to track down and exercise this grade 2 curse. So it's a stronger curse. So that's their goal, is to get that curse, and whoever gets that curse first and exercises it first, that team wins. But if they don't catch that curse on the premises, whoever kills, there's a lot more like level 5 and level 4 level curses.
Yeah.
So whoever kills more of those curses wins the battle too, if they can't kill the grade 2 curse.
Right. And they're starting on opposite sides of like a terrain.
Yeah,
like a forest with
Hunger Games-esque situation.
Yeah, it seems like there's multiple levels. There's like a desert thing, there's a water thing, there's trees, stuff like that. So yeah, they have to do that. There's a plan that Tokyo has that we don't know about yet.
Right.
As they begin, the games start. It's just going, and then immediately Todo jumps out of the forest and attacks the team because that's what he wants to do. But they had planned on this because they had fought him before, and so the plan that they had hatched was that Yuji was going to be the Todo foil.
Right, because they're like, Yuji, what are you best at? And he's like, well, I can kick and punch. And then Panda's like, well, we basically have that covered. So he's like, you distract Todo. You don't have to beat him, but you just have to hold him off long enough to let us try to get this grade 2 curse.
Right. And then Megumi says a thing that gives him a little bit of confidence where he's like, well, if it was a battle involving no cursed energy, if all of Tokyo and Kyoto fought against Yuji at once, Yuji would win.
Probably still win.
Yeah. And it's okay, dang.
Yeah, I think Maki even makes a response to that, saying, "Oh wow, that's high praise coming from Megumi," you know?
Yeah, who fought Todo and got beat up by him. So
shit out of him.
Yeah, so
it's funny because like Kyoto knows they can't control Todo either. He is a bull in a china shop, right?
Right.
So he just goes straight after the group and.
But they take advantage of that. They spy on him with is it Nishimiya? Nishimiya, is that her name? Yes, Nishimiya is flying overhead looking for Todo.
That's our Kiki's delivery service witch.
Right. And she's also looking for the grade 2 curse as well. She's sort of surveilling the terrain.
I like her. I think she's cool. Yeah, I'm nothing against her.
I think everybody at Kyoto sucks, except for Todo. I think they're all weak.
Oh, I mean,
none of them can do anything. I mean, I like Miwa. She's cool.
Yeah, Miwa's cool.
Yeah, but
oh well.
I mean, okay, guys. Like as we will see in a second,
Mechamaru's pretty cool. I mean, he's got some cool moves.
As we will see in a second. Mai is completely pointless. She is there out of nepotism. The Zenin family, they're important. She just has a gun.
Yeah.
That's it. And she can't even hit Yuji with it later. She's shooting at him. She can't even hit him. It's completely pointless. It's like, why? You're not a sorcerer. You're a gun-wielding lunatic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, that's my hot take. I don't know how hot that is. But, so, yeah, Yuji starts fighting with Todo. Todo punches Yuji like all the way into a tree so hard that Yuji thinks his arm has been knocked off, Tenshin Han style.
Yeah, and this is right after Todo does a great knee to the face with like one of his strongest blows. Yeah, and Todo even says like, "Wow, that was a forceful hit."
Right. And then Todo runs up and he starts stomping on Yuji's face over and over and over again, to where you think, oh, Yuji's dead, because there's a crater in the tree where his head has just been slamming into, and blood all over his face.
Profuse amount of blood on his face. And then Yuji, in the best, and this is why I love this episode, Yuji, in the best comeback ever, he's like, "Hey, you gotta stop kicking me in the head. I might turn stupider than I already am."
Right. That's a real.
He's like, "You might make me dumber than I already am."
It's a very Denji from Chainsaw Man comment.
It was great. I laughed so hard in that moment. And then Todo, even with the best response back, these guys are a great duo, by the way.
Yeah.
Todo's response was, "Well, Takada says guys are better that are a little bit stupider or more dumb."
And then Yuji's like, "I don't know who the hell that is. I don't care about idols." And Todo's like, "You knew she was an idol, so you do know who she is."
Yeah.
It's like super bro-y. It's super funny. And then, of course,
this is a great bromance coming.
This is my favorite part of these 4 episodes, I gotta say. Because Todo poses the question to him, again, like, what kind of girl is your type? And Yuji's like, "Why are you asking that?" He's like, "Doesn't matter. I'm just appraising you."
Right. And he just does, he says in a very soft, he's like, "Well, I guess it's, the classic line is like, I guess it's going to be a tall girl with a nice big ass. Kind of like Jennifer Lawrence." And then like it cuts to Todo's eyes and he just like, they expand. He goes, "Wah," and he kind of like, he found his soulmate. His bromate for sure, right?
It's like, guys, this fantasy that he has of this high school life, this bittersweet, like, I'm going to tell this girl I like her. It's like, don't do it. You're going to get heartbroken. I'm going to have to pick up the pieces.
I mean, every moment of this sequence is fantastic. This is like my favorite scene. They're reading manga together on the rooftops.
He's like reading over his shoulder and they're like, wow, this chapter was great.
I love this new chapter. And then he's like, "I'm going to ask Takada if she likes me," or whatever, or something like that, or like,
I'm going
to tell Takada I love her. And Yuji's like, "Well, why would you do that? That's the dumbest thing ever. You're gonna get rejected." He's like, "Well, I gotta try," basically. and then like it cuts to him asking her. So this is actually all coming from Todo's mind, and the fact that he's in his own mind getting rejected by Takada is the most hilarious thing in the world to me. So it's like he's already super confident because he wants to ask her out, but even in his own mind, he knows he's gonna get rejected.
Yeah.
But just so Yuji can say, "Sorry, bud. You know what? Let's go get some ramen."
Yeah.
And he gives him a little turn back and he says, "My treat." You knew it was coming. I called it when I was sitting and watching with Angie. I was like, he's going to say, "My treat." And he says, "My treat." I was like, "Yep, done."
Yeah.
Just what a great moment. So now they're
super funny.
Now they're bromance.
He's crying. He's got snot pouring out of his nose. And he's like, "My best friend." Yeah. He's just like so freaking happy, and Yuji's like, "You just learned my name. Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, what a great moment. What a great moment.
Yeah, but then of course immediately spoiled by the
Todo and Yuji.
I mean, it's a great bromance, but then it's completely spoiled by the dumbass Kyoto people. It's like Mai with a gun.
Right.
Miwa is cool. She has a cool little like partial domain where she's about to do like Bato Jitsu from Kenshin, where she's gonna quick draw and kill Yuji. Of course, nothing can work. Yuji's better than all of them. And then, of course, we find out that Tokyo prepared for this.
Exactly. Yuji quickly realized, like, okay, there's like 5 people trying to kill me all at once. It's like not trying to just disable me, they're trying to kill me. So he knows instantly that there's something going on here.
Right. And Megumi and Nobara. Wait, is it Nobara? No. It's Maki.
Maki.
Yeah, Megumi and Maki show up and they save him.
And they ask him, like, "Are you guys trying to kill?" And Megumi says, "Are you guys trying to kill Yuji? Like, what would you do that for?" And they're just doing a little sparring back and forth. He's like, "Well," he's like, "if you are, like, what's it to you, you know?"
Right.
And
exactly, which gives Yuji and Todo more leave to just fight, do their own thing.
It even just pisses Todo off because he's like, "You guys, you need to stay out of my shit. I told you not to interfere with my fight." He's like, "And I just made my new best friend." And this is great because he starts saying, basically the whole time, he's like, "Yeah, now that we're my best friend," like he's known him for a decade, you know?
Right. "I told you that if you interfered with me that I would kill you." And they're like, didn't you say if we told you what to do, you would kill us? He's like, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's great. It's super fun. This is all really fun stuff. I love this. But yeah, I hate the Kyoto peeps. I don't feel any threat from them whatsoever. Like the fights continue. We see a little bit of, Nobara and Panda tracking down Nishimiya, for stuff. And we see Maki ends up just fighting with Miwa, which is an interesting fight. Another juxtaposition of characters here, because obviously Maki comes from a very rich clan, very well-known people.
Miwa's poor.
Miwa's like, yeah, I don't care about, this might sound like an excuse. I don't care about their dumb mission. I just want to win this event and win the money. And Maki's like, why? And the Japanese word for being poor is bimbo. So she basically says, I'm a bimbo.
I'm a bimbo.
Yeah, like I'm poor and I've got 2 younger brothers.
Yeah.
And it's like this little, funny moment.
I'm the eldest. That kind of situation.
Yeah. And that's kind of just the end of the episode. It's pretty short, pretty sweet, a lot of fighting.
But what a great one. What a great one. Because now that Todo and Yuji are best friends, which hopefully we're going to see this blossom even more, because this is just a great, I mean, it just reminds me like, Chandler and, Joey from Friends. I mean, just all of them. Like, this reminds me of all the best moments in bromances through anime, shonen, and everything else in between. It's going to be a great and beautiful friendship. But Todo starts training him, kind of.
Yeah, because Todo is the same type.
Exactly.
He's physically amazingly strong. He uses curse energy in the exact same way. And he wants an exciting battle, because he doesn't want to be bored. That's his whole thing, is he's like, I hate people with boring taste in women. I hate boring fights. So he starts training Yuji and how to be more like him, so he can get the best out of him and have a super fight, maybe, which is what Sukuna is grooming Megumi for.
Exactly.
Who knows?
So that's a really cool, important point, because Yuji does try Divergent Fist on Todo, right?
Right.
And in this
we're going right into episode 16 right here.
But it's not nuts. I mean, this is actually in 15, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, this is in 15. Yeah. Because he tells him how to express it later at the very end.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we had to add that in there, because in this episode, he's talking about how strong he is, but he feels that Yuji's Divergent Fist is all wrong.
He's like, how can you remain my best friend if you don't fix this problem? And Yuji's like, I don't really care about being your best friend. He's like, so you do not care if you're weak?
Yeah.
And Yuji, that lights the fire. He's like, yes, exactly. I do care about this.
And then that's kind of when it goes to the Jujutsu stroll.
Right, which is asking all of the girls from Kyoto what their type is. Maybe Maki is also included in this, what their type of dude is. Oh, Nobara maybe is included as well. And of course, Miwa, without saying it, says Gojo. But then we get a little reciprocity where Gojo says that his type is the type like Miwa. He doesn't know her name, but Iori confirms that it's Miwa. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's her. That's my type.
That works.
Yeah, she's 17 years old. He's 29. Make of that what you will. But
give it a year or two. At least.
I think in Japan it's okay. So I don't know. And now we get to episode 16.
Yes.
Kyoto Sister School Exchange Event Group Battle
Team Battle Part 2. Let's go.
More Yuji versus Todo. This is where now.
This is where we need to hit on, because this is actually very important, especially for cursed energy techniques and just becoming a better sorcerer. I'm putting my headset back on for a second, and let's go. So basically, Todo explains to Yuji, he's like, your Divergent Fist, like we talked about earlier, it's a double impact. He's like, so you're actually losing a lot of your force or ability to do damage on your opponent, because your curse technique is not imbued into your spirit and in your physical actions and punches.
It's taking too long to catch up too.
Exactly.
Like if somebody gets away before the curse energy hits, it's not going to have the full impact.
It has to be in unison at one point so you can actually attack in whole. And he explains that. There's the cool little montage here where Todo explains to him, and he's actually training Yuji, by the way. He's training Yuji and giving Yuji some very successful and helpful hints here, which might be the best. When Gojo's trained him, and now Todo, his hashtag pseudo enemy in this fight, is actually giving him probably the second best advanced fighting techniques he's learned.
Right.
Like Nanami, he didn't really give him. He was saying what don't to do. He wasn't saying what you can do. But this is Todo says, hey, your body, all of your cursed energy kind of starts at your navel, kind of like a chi kind of thing. Like you hold it here and it kind of extends out through your body. He's like, what you do is you take it and slowly channel it into whatever part you're going to use for your attack.
And these are like rudimentary things that you're taught.
Right.
Like that's how you become sensitive to it, is you have to learn like starts in the stomach, up to the chest, to the shoulders, to the arms, and then to the hands. It's kind of like when, to make a weird reference, when you learn how to pop lock, like a breakdancing thing, it's like you like bend this knuckle, wrist, elbow, shoulder, pass it. But then eventually when you see the people do it, they're just fluid smooth. They because they've learned how to isolate those things, that they can just do it smoothly at this point. And now he's saying that that's what Yuji needs to learn how to do.
And so he basically just gives him a cool little montage saying, hey, just, clear your mind, clear your body, and just like realize that everything is connected from your soul to the body that in the universe and the world around you. Kind of one of those very Zen, namaste, spiritual kind of moments.
Right.
Shows a seagull flying over the ocean, and then like the land and the sea, and kind of getting in touch with nature in that part of your soul and connecting. And it does. He understands what he's saying, and it kind of helps Yuji release that energy, right?
Yeah, he even says that it's like high level cursed energy users, it's hard to read where the flow of their cursed energy is coming from, because
it's all around you.
They don't have to do the segmented things to do it. It's like, okay, they've already developed the sensitivity. Now they have to just express it openly and without restrictions, without limiting it to like each part of the thing. And so, and then Yuji immediately, releases an aura that looks a lot like Todo's, and Todo is super happy to see that. It's like, all right,
best friends forever.
Yeah, it's like I hope you don't die. Like, I hope you really give me an awesome fight here.
And you get your very much Ken Ryu kind of like, hey, bros brought the fight and spar for the first time ever kind of thing. If you watch Street Fighter, the animated series,
He also says one more thing that I really liked, where he was talking about how people who master their eyes first can master everything else quicker. And what he's talking about, I think he's talking more in an analytical sense. Like, if you can see the difference between good and bad, then you will improve faster than everybody, because you'll know what not to do and what to do. But I think there's something else kind of deeper to that too, where, it's like what Andrew Huberman said about, if you want to increase your concentration, increase your ability to focus on one thing with like a foveal point, like stare at a point on a wall for a long, long period of time. It's really, really hard to do, but that actually increases your focus, which if your focus is increased, you're more in the moment, you're more connected, you have better proprioception, better perception of your body, so you can do things better. So that's what I got out of that. I really like that sequence too. And even though the rest of the fight is happening off camera right now, like, I'm excited in the next episode to see how it concludes.
That's what I'm saying. I hope it comes back to this, because it immediately cuts to Nobara and Panda taunting Momo up in the tree, because she can't move because she got hit by Megumi Shikigami electrical blast, and it kind of put her out of commission for now, at least, right?
Right.
And they give her taunting. Nobara is taunting her, and then she realizes it's not even affecting her, and it's making Nobara mad. So then she has to stop that. But it's pretty not really too important of a scene right there. What happens in a minute though is that when they're taunting her, Panda gets shot from behind.
Right, he gets shot from behind. It's Mechamaru.
I thought it was Mai at first, actually, and then I realized, and then he pops.
It was
the bushes.
the gun.
Yeah, he pops out. And poor Panda gets right through the damn shoulders, and Mechamaru says, "Oh, he's it's not fatal injury, but he'll be out for a while."
Right. He says he's a cursed corpse.
Yeah.
So it will only slow him down for a little bit. So
huge reveal.
This is where your prediction came true.
Yeah.
You said very early on, like, I wonder if he is a cursed corpse, like the thing that the principal made.
Right.
He is exactly that.
He's exactly that. He is a cursed corpse made by the principal.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's put that on the board. Kevin got a win.
Right.
Boom.
Kevin got a prediction. Let's see what else you've guessed. There's a couple of other floating ones that the viewers have teased you might be correct about.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But basically, Panda gets up right afterwards. So Mechamaru thought he's out of action. Panda gets up and he just starts attacking. And Panda, dude, this guy, I've never really seen him in action. Mm-hmm. He is a badass, dude.
He packs a wallop.
Like, I would not want to fight Panda, right?
No.
He looks scary as hell. He's cursed energy. He's a cursed doll, so he's probably, less, gets injuries probably don't occur to him that easily. He's stronger, more versatile. And it's just a crazy explosion of rage that Panda unleashes on Mechamaru.
Right. He's also a pretty good martial artist as well.
Yeah.
It shows the principal from Tokyo. He created him. He's like, this is my masterpiece. I created a cursed corpse that has
Emotions.
Raises him. He's like teaching him like Kempo. Like, they're doing like punching exercises.
Really
like
cute.
Traditional
Really cute
martial
baby
arts.
panda for 1 second until he gets big.
Right. And then it's just a full-on battle of curse techniques and will between Mechamaru and Panda, who are juxtaposed opposites again.
Exactly.
They're perfect opposites because we learn what Mechamaru is.
Yeah. So
too.
go a little more detail here because you're a big Kenshin fan.
Yeah. So Mechamaru is actually a person whose name we don't yet know, who looks like Shishio Makoto.
Yeah.
Is the
You'll see him on the green screen here.
Batosai's successor in Rurouni Kenshin, who tries to destroy Kyoto and take over Japan with the Juppon Katana, all that good stuff. But so this guy was born with a specific curse where he was born without an arm, born without legs. He has no feeling below his waist, and his skin is so sensitive that it's even burned by moonlight.
Yes. So this is important to note because Mechamaru even says, he's like, I have a huge pool, just like an ocean of cursed energy just because I was born into the situation he was born into,
Right. It feels like every pore in my body is being stabbed repeatedly by needles.
Yeah.
So I can actually, because Panda at first is like, well, if this is just a puppet, you must be close by. And he's like, nope, I've got so much cursed energy, I can wield it from great distances.
Yeah.
So he might even be in Kyoto.
Yeah. I feel like he's closer, but but it is interesting to note that he said that,
Right. And his attacks do remind me of, I forget the character's name off the top of my head, the guy from One Punch Man. The
mecha guy with
I forget his name. It'll probably be like right here at the bottom of the screen because we'll find it while we're editing or whatever.
We'll post him up here, but sorry for not remembering his name. I haven't seen
Yeah.
One Punch in a couple of years since they released it.
It's been a while,
It's been a long time for me, but
as you get older, it's hard to remember all these names. Yeah. Yeah. So basically the rest of this episode is just Panda and Mechamaru fighting.
Yeah, and then they're making notes to each other. You're right. They're just fighting back and forth. It's some great action sequences. Of course, we always give props to Mappa, but they do some great artwork here. And you do see there are a couple big points I need to hit on when Panda is fighting Mechamaru, because they're a lot more similar, like you said, than you'd think. Mechamaru has to use a fake body to project out physically in the world, to just be out there. And then, Panda, makes it known. He's like, hey, I am a cursed spirit as well.
Yeah.
And then Mechamaru, who we thought he's getting the shit beat out of him, he thought he was out of energy, and he is able to do one amazing blast, and he found, Panda's core and blasts his core.
Right.
And Panda's trying to be his friend. Panda's trying to say, hey, we have a lot more in common than you think. He's like, we don't really need to do this, but if you want to, we'll fight. But he's like, I'm telling you, you will lose this fight. He's confident in that. But
Mechamaru hates the fact that he exists, because he's like, I would love to not have any cursed energy if I could just have a body and just live a normal life,
and you're not even real,
Yeah, you're not even real. You're just created. You get to walk around and be a panda and do all this stuff and get to have fun, and people can touch you. No one can touch me. No one can even stand the sight of me.
Yeah.
And it's really crazy. And the turning point of the fight is he unleashes a really big attack that could kill Nobara.
Actually, it's called Ultimate Cannon.
That's right. He's like Albatross Ultimate Cannon or something like that. And Panda's like, well, I have to block it.
Yeah.
And he exhausts his panda core.
Yeah.
And then transforms into a gorilla form of himself.
Yes.
And, yeah.
What are we watching?
Yeah, what are we watching?
What are we watching, guys?
It's crazy.
I don't know. Now I'm yelling. It's so funny because we keep talking about this, but this is the most random ass show I've ever seen in my life. But I love it, and that's what anime is amazing for, is there are random ass shit. But this is crazy. So we see that we've seen still images from the intros of the beast mode before. Like, what the hell? This gorilla guy, he comes out, and it's basically Panda gets jacked, big arm. He's got those forearms. He's a big ass gorilla.
The inverted canines
going up. His eyes turn pink with like kind of like a robotic kind of hue to the outside. I was like, dude, this is some cool shit. Gorilla mode is awesome.
Yeah, and then they just spend the rest of the episode basically pummeling the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Talking, their differences and all that stuff. They leave the forest. They leave Nobara fighting, I guess it's Momo, the witch. And that's just basically the rest of the episode. It's just this fight between Gorilla Panda and Mechamaru.
Which I thought that fight was pretty great. I mean, it was just fun. It wasn't like, anything too deep or expansive. This 4 episodes was kind of a good reprieve to have from the last 4, where it was pretty heavy, pretty deep. And now this is kind of fun and a lot more world building. I mean, we also find out, we didn't mention yet, that Panda actually has a 3rd core as well.
Right.
And we think it could be female in nature, like an older sister or Mai, or I have no idea. But they make a quick mention of this, and I should have written the notes, but forgive me, I did not.
Yeah, it's like, you hit my first core with that first attack. You exhausted Panda core with your Albatross ultimate cannon, and now all that's left is Gorilla core.
Yeah. So no, there's another core though, but she doesn't pop out.
Right. Oh, I think that's the one that was hit that he mentioned when he got shot through the chest.
So if that first one's Panda core, and then the second one's Gorilla core, is the third one Alba core? Tuna fish? No? Okay. All right.
Goodbye, everybody. Good night. I'm just kidding.
All right. That was terrible, but we're not editing that out. Yeah. We're keeping it.
Please don't. Please don't.
That's a total dad joke. Okay. All right.
That's my realm of expertise, but
any final thoughts on this episode? You want to?
Yeah. We're on opposite sides of the ravine on this one. I was not too crazy about the Panda versus Mechamaru fight.
I thought it was cool
because I got so invested in Yuji and Todo's bromantic fight that I wanted to see the natural conclusion of that. And I hate when fights are cut away from for fights that I care less about.
True.
Because when they cut away, initially it was just Nobara and Panda taunting Momo in the tree, right?
Yeah.
and then Mechamaru shows up. I was just like, okay, so now we're gonna learn all about this character. Now we're gonna learn all about Panda. I kind of had wished. I mean, I get the need. You got to say what Panda is, but I was enjoying for the longest time, even up until the last episode.
The mystery, huh?
They were still not saying what Panda was.
Yeah.
Like even Yuji asked him in the last episode, like, so are you like a new breed of panda? And then they just don't listen to the answer. So I'm like, oh, it's just a funny bit that this panda can talk and we never have an explanation, but now we do. And it's a cool explanation, but this was, of these 4 episodes, my least favorite, I gotta say.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'm a huge Panda guy, huge Panda fan, Albacore fan, Gorilla Core fan. I love them all. Mechamaru, I'm a sucker for mech action fighting. I love that stuff too. The cool explosions, the great fights on top of the buildings that they're getting into, the just total destruction of the area that was happening, and just a little backstory to Mechamaru. What's his real name? Is it Muka? Muta.
I don't know.
Muta. It's Koichi
Muta.
Koichi Muta.
Oh, okay.
And it was good to see his backstory. I'm actually having, as much as you don't like the Kyoto people, I'm actually enjoying this time spending with them. It's fun to meet new interesting characters. Because Nobara, she still hasn't had her day in the sun yet.
Neither has Megumi.
Neither has Megumi.
Megumi had a little bit of mystery sprinkled on him by his fight with Sukuna and sort of every other...
Just a minuscule amount.
But it's like, these are the first 2 supporting characters that we met, and we still don't know who they are.
Right.
We kind of more of a sense of Megumi, I know superficial things about Nobara, but they're extremely underdeveloped, and...
It's like
now Todo is like more developed than they are.
Yeah, we're getting all these other bigger plot details involving these other characters that we didn't even think were going to play the huge roles that Yuji's classmates do, and now now we know a lot more about them, and they have some very interesting personalities, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. We needed to mention one quick thing is that this was actually last episode was the first time Yuji saw Panda, Maki, and Inamaru. or what's his name?
Inumaki.
Inumaki.
Yeah. So
he hadn't even met them before.
They explained his whole thing. They actually explained his cursed speech in a little bit more detail, where they're like, well, the reason his words have a lot of power and no one actually knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Like it could have a rebound effect because it affects everything around that hears it.
Uncontrollable.
And apparently just saying the ingredients of a rice ball is pretty innocuous. It doesn't trigger that cursed power or whatever. But even the Kyoto school, they're like, we all need to attack Yuji together and kill him right away. And I forget who says it. It's like, isn't that dangerous if Inumaki shows up and we're all together?
Yeah.
Because his speech could just, affect all of us.
Yeah. We could all die. I mean, I
everybody
guess.
could die. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how that works. But that another thing, we don't know anything about him. But
we don't know.
Yeah. But it's cool to get some time with these Kyoto people, and they finally got to build out the Todo Yuji fight, and I can't wait for the next episode. So now I'm super stoked because they have to finish the Todo Yuji fight, right?
Right. So this is episode 16. So by the time, we're going to do 17, 18, 19, 20 for the next 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll be 3 away from the end.
Yeah,
from the end of first season anyway. So
2
we'll have
more
a
episodes.
better idea of where we're going. So
now, sky's the limit. I have no idea. What is this show?
The next 4 episodes could be just tonally, we don't even know anymore. There's such narrative whiplash with the story. It's like, oh, here's this super dark 4 episodes. Here are these super funny episodes, with this Kyoto Exchange event. It's like, I have no idea where this is going, but it's as always, it's a struggle when I don't get to watch further. Because even though this wasn't my favorite, I was like, okay, but I really, really want to see how the Yuji Todo thing, shakes down. So,
well, now that Yuji can, actually fully embrace his cursed energy like that, that's a huge unlocking potential kind of move.
Right.
Not to take off Gohan, but unleash potential. So this is, I'm super stoked to watch the next 4. Hopefully you guys at home are watching along with us, right?
Right. Well, even, I gotta say, Todo's explanation of how cursed energy is used is exactly the same explanation that Gohan gives Videl when he's teaching her how to fly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know
what's going to happen.
Yeah, but either way.
Don't tell us.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into this episode. I love these 4. Dan loved the last 4, and hopefully we'll love the next 4.
Yeah, hopefully the next will be like the soft serve vanilla chocolate swirl at the all-you-can-eat buffet, where it's like, oh, we equally love them for different reasons. So,
do you have any predictions coming up? Any hypothesis? Any predictions? What is going to happen?
I think that by the end of season 1, we're going to reveal who Geto is in proximity to the schools.
Right.
Because they've been setting up that he has something to do with the schools, and now, with Gojo, who's very smart, is like, okay, well, something's going on. There's a mole at the school, and Iori's been now deputized to also figure that out. So I feel like we're going to figure that out. Or it could be a thing. It could be a thing, too. There's a level 2 curse that they have to find.
Yeah, so we got to do that
I wonder if the main bad curses are going to, kill it and substitute it for a special grade. And then people are going to be forced into a horrible thing where they have to fight a special grade now.
That could be interesting.
Because Geto, if he has access to the school, he could have done it. To create a diversion to steal Sukuna's fingers. I don't know. That's like... that's a big swing prediction.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's going. But,
that's a big prediction. I was just thinking we're going to learn more about Megumi hopefully by the end of the season.
I'm just mapping Naruto onto that because this really reminds me of the Chunin exam in a lot of ways.
And Okatsu. And who the hell is this Okatsu guy? They talked about him 10 times last 2 episodes. I have zero clue who this dude is.
I don't know if we're going to see him in season 1. Yeah, because they're making such a big deal about how cool he is, but also that he's not there. But maybe by the end of the season, something cataclysmic is going to happen, where maybe even Gojo isn't enough, and then Okotsu Yuta is going to have to come and start messing fools up.
Yeah.
But
either way, we're enjoying this ride. We're enjoying this ride with you guys.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to continue. So catch up if you haven't caught up. Watch our Dragon Ball Z Megapod if you guys want to get caught up on that. We just finished the Frieza saga, and we're going to continue with the Cell saga after we're done with Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the film.
Well, we're going to do Garlic Jr. and then Android. And then we're doing the filler arcs too. So
they're part of the greater Cell saga, as I like to call it.
Oh, okay.
Just like Ginyu Force is part of the Frieza saga. the Garlic Jr., the Trunks, the future stuff, that's all part of the Cell Saga, in my opinion. That's a precursor.
Okay, well,
in my opinion.
You could even say that Garlic Jr. is somewhat part of the Majin Buu saga because Krillin has a girlfriend who later he names his daughter after. So,
yeah.
Which is weird. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. As always, please like and subscribe if you like this. Share this with a friend you think would also like it. You can comment on our predictions, but don't comment with spoilers. We appreciate that so much.
Do not know.
Join us next week as we cover episodes 17 through 20, and we'll see you on the other side.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Tons of fun.
All right.
Great episode.